Hey, so big news, Eli Tomac going to Yamaha, and this is on par with, you switching to Honda or your Suzuki move too, where we're seeing this iconic guy that's so associated with one brand switch. I've talked to a lot of people involved in this, and I'm going to talk to Eli actually later today, depending on, I think that comes out before this though. But anyways, I don't think it's a money thing. I think it was just time. I think he wanted a little bit more control over the bike, and he's going to get that over there. He's going to be able to do a little bit more. The Cowie guys are a little rigid. What do you equate this to any of your moves? Can you look at this and be like, that's kind of how I felt leaving Cowie, or that's how I felt leaving Honda?
Yeah, I think that I think it's going to be a breath of fresh air for him. I think it was time for him to move on. I think, to your point about the money, and you guys have probably talked about this already. Listen, all these guys have the same amount of money to play with, these manufacturers, as far as, for the most part, for getting a guy. You know what I mean? It comes down to the nuances of the deal, like you just touched about with Eli. What kind of control does he have? What is he able to do with the bike that maybe Kawasaki wasn't letting him do? And those are the things that they probably believe that will get him the results that he's wanting. So was it that way really for me? When I left Cowie and went to Honda, I knew that I was going to be on the same bike in 2002 as I was in 2001. And I thought for sure that McGrath was going to get better and be better than what he was in 2001 to get that championship back. So I knew I had to advance my position as far as equipment goes.
Yeah, Bruce Sternstrom tells a hilarious story about that, where he's just like, he goes, yeah, Ricky was just like, Bruce, the bike, it's not that good, and I can't get it that good. And Bruce was like, I kind of agree with you. It's not that good.
He was upset with me for a really long time, but now we can joke about it. But yeah. I mean, and I had a great relationship at Cowie. They were great to me, and I had no regrets. So fast forward to when I left Honda and then went to Suzuki. I wanted to stay at Honda. Right. And Honda just, I was asking for a little bit of a pay increase. And they were going to do that just a little bit, not what I was asking, but I had basically folded and said, okay, I'll do this. Right. I was good to go, unless Suzuki gave me what we were asking for. And I folded, and I was staying at Honda regardless of, they were implementing other things in my contract, like if I got hurt, and blah, blah, blah. Yep. And Suzuki stepped up to the plate, and I'm just like, okay. And I felt wanted, like through that whole process at Honda. And I was asking for these concessions. They wouldn't do it. Where before, when they wanted me to get me from when they recruited me from Cowie, it was whatever, whenever, however, we'll do it. Yeah. I'm like, okay. So it was the completely role reversal. So anyhow, I don't know the intricacies of the deal with Eli, but I do think it'll be a breath of fresh air. I have heard the same thing about you, that he'll have a little bit more say-so in the bike and be able to change and do things that he would like, which that's kind of what the beauty of the Monster Energy Star Yamaha team is, right? Like they're almost like a private sector team with factory support, so they have a little bit more leeway, which might be exactly what he needs. And I'm excited to hear what he has to tell you. I mean, we'll get it from the horse's mouth for sure.
Yeah. It's funny because I guarantee you, looking back on that move, Honda did it to Jeremy, right? Where they started when the deal was up. He didn't like that 97 bike, but they also were kind of putting clauses in his deals and clamping down on it. And I think that they were like, well, where is he going to go? What's he going to do? Right? We're Honda. And I guarantee you, Honda with you was like, well, he's not going back to Cowie, and Yamaha's full, and he's not going to KTM. And he would never go to Suzuki. I mean, they're not going to do anything, And all of a sudden, I guarantee you, they were like, "Where's this dude going to go?" And then you're like, "Actually, I'm going to go."
Yeah. So
I'm sure
it's funny. Yeah. The exact same thing, Steve, is like they were putting concessions in my contracts. Right. I'm like, oh man. And I'm like, okay, I'll accept it.
Right.
And then, then Suzuki just came through with the Hail Mary, made it happy. And I remember my manager, he called me. I was driving. We were in Atlanta. I was going to a dealer signing, I think Freewheeling Honda. Mm-hmm. And he's like, you want the good news or the bad news? I'm like, well, I'll take the bad news first. He says, well, there is no bad news. I said, what's the good news? He says, well, Suzuki gave us everything that we were asking for.
Everything, yeah.
And he's like, so you got a decision to make. I'm like, ooh. And I was like, I didn't want to be put in that position. Mm-hmm. But I just found out like a year and a half ago. This is crazy. This blows my mind. I found out why Honda was playing hardball. Because, dude, they were trying to sign Stu.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
At the same time, I'm like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So they were trying to get Stu for 2005.
Right.
So isn't that funny? They didn't get any of us.
There was this Stu test ride in 2002 or whatever that was, right? There was
Yeah.
But they were going back out and make another run at him.
That's what I had heard. I think I heard that a year and a half ago.
Right.
Like, that makes sense.
Did you? I mean, it's easy to look back now and say, but did you legitimately think you could win at Suzuki right away, be as good as you were right away? Did you think like Roger was there, and the bike actually, we used to laugh at Yamaha because it was basically a YZ250 motor.
100%.
Yeah, but we were like, it's Suzuki. Like all of us were like, he's gonna break it. They're gonna need some time to figure things out, and especially when it came to that 4-stroke, we're like, there's no chance that thing's going to hold together with Ricky riding it. But did you think you could win right away?
Well, I had confidence that I could win, but I thought it was going to be hard. But Roger had done a good job at selling me on it, and he said it was very similar. He had said it was very similar to the Yamaha, and we all know those. I mean, Yamaha, that bike was absolutely incredible through that time period. So they had basically copied that.
Yep.
They said they were making all kinds of concessions of how we would make it right if it wasn't up to par. And when I came there, I mean, it was they were ready to go. It's almost like when you sponsor someone, then you got to go activate.
Right.
They hired me. They were ready to go. And make no mistake about it, like when I knew that we were talking with Suzuki, it started pretty much at the beginning of the year, that year in 2004. And I was watching the bike. I was laid up with my ACL. So it gave me some time to really do my research and homework, because the tough part was, you remember back then, and even probably today now, when you want to go get a rider from another team, you do a private test midway through the season and you get an idea.
Yep.
Right. Well, I didn't get to do that because my knee was jacked. So I never even rode the bike. I went on faith, man, and what I could listen to.
Right.
I listened to, and I was glued to Nick Way the whole time. Just like listen to the bike, watch the bike, and it always sounded good, and the whole bit. So anyhow, it was good. It was good.